Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com or on your smartphone or tablet. Another thrilling, chilling, and sometimes spilling edition of the Basilio Show is on the way next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AV. Powell, Knoxville.
First day in pads, man. I'm fired up, folks, and prepared over here. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling, 92? Well, adaptation of Taylor Swift there. First day in pads, and the theme continues to be for Tennessee, tremendous defense. And who's going to play? Who's going to help you? Who's going to be your playmakers? Here's your theme. Today on the program, Kevin Scarbinsky is going to join here in a little bit. Kev, longtime fixture in Alabama circles. It's a tremendously interesting fall there. Here's the type of year we've got in front of us. The halves in the league, right? The teams at the top of the league, they even have a lot of question. Well, not Texas. Well, maybe Texas. Who knows if Arch Manning can play? I mean, he's got a great name. Who knows? So many unknowns at quarterback this year. Alabama has one. Now, I want to get his thoughts on what their camp looks like so far, how it's going. But all politics are local. I have downloaded Watson Brown on the following. Today, Staley missed practice again. Tennessee had 7 scholarship wide receivers. 3 of them are true freshmen. The big 3 have not been on the field one time through 6 practices together. Sands are going through the hourglass. First scrimmage is Saturday. Today was the first practice in full pads. And that is a football team committed to not letting Nico have the last laugh. You got to have your guys on the field, though, at some point. And you've got a situation where at Tennessee, the strength of your offense in your passing game might end up being end up being in your tight ends, because the Kitzelman guy the Davis guy, and let's mention the Brame guy. Davis and Brame could function to some extent in other spots if you needed them to. So this is going to be, it already was interesting, but then you're back to, do I introduce Boo Carter? Here's some of the things we're talking with Watson Brown about. Why do offenses take longer in camp? And I'm going to get in that with Sean Sinclair here momentarily, as well as first day in full pads. How important is it? And I want to know from him. How important is it? Another thing I'm going to ask Sean here momentarily. Is it important? How important is it for a wide receiver for these guys to be on the field in camp, especially when you're talking about introducing, and again, we're back to the complication of, and Joey football and the thing that happened late in the spring, that's a complication here. How important is it to have those guys on the field in camp? Or is it not important? Can you just get that off film? And, you know, if Brazel continues to, you know, because now you're 6 practices in. I mean, this is kind of, to quote Crosby, Stills, and Nash back in the day, it's getting to the point. Anyway, so, and there you see why I don't sing. So how important is it to have those guys? And then another thing I'm going to ask Watson is, because, you know, the Rodarius Jackson kid, who knows? You might have somebody there that can help you. Why is it so hard for true freshmen to play at this level unless they're like the Williams kid at Alabama or the kid at Ohio State? It's extremely hard for whatever reason to introduce wide receivers in this deal. And they haven't been able to do this in this offense since Heupel's been here, young kids playing. We have a lot to talk about because that's really interesting as Staley misses another practice. Staley, Brazel, and Matthews obviously, and then obviously are your 1, 2, and 3 receivers in this thing. That's obviously, and then in 50-point bold point, obviously. And they haven't had one practice where all those guys are on the field. And I think they've only had one where 2 guys are on the field. I was laughing with somebody that's over there every day the other day off the air, and they were like, we kind of think it's comical, except it's not. I mean, they said, we had somebody over there running near the first team, and we were all looking at each other going, who is that? That's where we are. So the good news is, like I said yesterday, this isn't going to be a good defense. This is going to be one of the better defenses Tennessee's put on the field in a long time. Which leads me to this. If Nico would have worked out the way he was supposed to work out, and you have the defense they have, they would be a national championship contender today as we sit here. Have you thought about that? Has anybody else thought about that? Spire and those guys went out and spent that money, set this thing up for this year. This was the come year. But we chose a guy from a class full of people that can't play. That's a whole class full of quarterbacks. It's not just him. I'm not picking on them for that. But have you had that thought? Because there's not a lot of buzz around Tennessee football, around the community. There's just not. Because I think all the off-season stuff probably has dampened it. I was talking with the great Russell Smith about that the other day off the air. We were just kind of like, you go around town, and Sean deals with the public every day. We've had that discussion this summer. As I bring Sean Sinclair in, who saved my life last week while I was in the vomitorium. Cinco, how you doing, brother? Welcome in.
I'm doing well, Tone, and praise the Lord that you are back on your feet, if not 100%. Whatever you are is certainly better than 10 good men out there, so I'm glad to hear you back on the mic.
John Waite and the Babies, baby, back on my feet again. Great jam from the 70s.
There you go.
Wally Stocker on lead guitar. Cinco, in your humble opinion, this has been an interesting camp, hasn't it?
I don't know about interesting. I mean, it, I I don't know if I could be the. I'm not here to be a downer or anything like that. I think this was, it was highly predictable.
You kind of called it in real time,
I mean,
actually.
I'm not sure how. I'm not really sure how anybody is surprised by this. I am surprised by your declaration of the defense being so good. Uh, I'm hoping they can be as good as last year, and if they're better, that's a surprise to me. I'm still not convinced that linebacker. I don't care if they called Arian Carter one of the freaks of the country. I thought the linebacker play last year was average at best, and I still have concerns about safety. But nonetheless, I mean, if they can be as good as last year, I'm happy. But the offense, this was extremely. In fact, it was not only predictable; it was obvious what was going on here. You talked about the receivers, and you rang that bell for the past 6 months easily about going out and getting receivers. Every week it was, this guy's available, this guy's available. You would give out stats, this guy's available, et cetera, et cetera. Why aren't we looking at this guy? Those guys have first line receivers, and yet they're still adding people in. Why aren't we doing that? And what you're saying today is, even if you had brought back experienced veterans that had produced, sheer numbers are alarming because you don't have much of a margin. However, when you take into account that the numbers you are watching are completely inexperienced, have not proven anything at this level, and are going against week in and week out, for the most part, NFL cornerbacks in a brand new system with brand new offensive line and a brand new quarterback, and all three of the quarterbacks, they are what they are. George McIntyre, I'm sure he has a world of talent. He's just not ready. Merklinger is, I get it. I said it last week. Everybody wants to crown him, the guy. I said it last week. I haven't seen it. I didn't see it in high school. I'm not sure where it's coming from. And then you got a guy who was, it's all set up for a Rudy Notre Dame story.
Yes, it is.
And everybody wants to, at the end of the fall, they want to go, ha ha, look how the Hallmark Channel has made Nico terrible, and the Castaway is leading us to the playoffs. That's a huge stretch right there, man.
And it all leads to this. Like yesterday, I'm on here, and when you've gone through what I'm going through, and people that have been through it say, "Man, just kind of keep rolling." Kind of like when I tell people that get in the throes of depression, it's like, we're all humans, and you get in these valleys in life, and you just got to keep fighting. And my back issue, man, when you can't sleep at night, it sometimes you get behind a microphone like I did yesterday, and I kind of went way overboard because I love Josh Heupel. I don't like him. I think he's a very, very good coach. I don't like him. I love him. I think when you compare him, like you think about Dooley running for elected office, Dooley was never a football coach. He had zero business being the head football coach here. He was an athletic director. That's what he was. That's the way he conducted himself at Tennessee. He was more worried about what was in the padding that was adorning the back of Neyland Stadium on the brick, and all the crazy stories I got about his just nutty personality. But this guy here, very easy to root for. The thing I asked yesterday, and I did it obnoxiously, and I realize that, but and I can be like way obnoxious, but I just don't understand why you would make it this hard on yourself. Because now they're in a spot. And people say, well, Tony, the season hasn't played, and you got to relax. And all that is true. All that is true. They knew in camp. You're playing Southeastern Conference football. I'm calling it, here's my term, you got to have, in case of emergency, break glass guys. Just a couple of them on your roster. Just a couple of them. I was looking, John Adams shared those names, and I put them in the blog yesterday and was looking at the numbers. First of all, there were a lot of guys available. people like Missouri signed highly productive at the Power 4 level wide receivers, but it goes even deeper than that. There's another team in the league, one of the lesser leagues, I believe it was Kentucky, maybe a Vanderbilt. Somebody added a kid from Charlotte that averaged 25 yards a catch. Tennessee got the McMurray kid last year from Temple, who helped them. He helped them. I mean, he's not a great player. The kid from Middle Tennessee last year, he helped them. The weirdest thing about what's going on right now, going into year 5 of Josh Heupel, who I really like, but the weirdest thing is that the defensive side of the ball, from a personnel standpoint, is so much better managed than the offensive side. Sean, that's really a strange thing to say out loud. It's true. It's true. I mean, it is just true. And they had 7 wide receivers leave in the portal. They have 7 scholarship wide receivers right now. 3 of them are true freshmen. I mean, and then you get into camp. You got the Brazil guy who they knew. And look, the guy had kind of a surgery here recently to clean something up. But they knew he wasn't going to be a hard-working guy. He was hey, nice to have this guy on our roster, but we got to really keep tabs on him. We got to keep the wheels on this guy for another year. That's the way it is with him. I just talk honestly on here. This is what it is. I like the guy, but this is a weird camp, man. You got a quarterback. You tell me, Sean, how important is it? Let's say you had 3 answers at wide receiver, okay? Because we got one, I think, answer in Matthews, who I think is going to be a really nice player, and then a couple of question marks. And the Brazil guy, I just don't know if you can count on him. He'll make a big catch for you every once in a while, like he did last year, as we call it, the Brazil Dazzle. But the way this thing feels, how important, Sean, is it to have those guys on the field right now for camp reps?
It's extremely important for 3 reasons. First reason is for their individual development. It's for, the more reps somebody gets, the better they potentially can get if they're doing their business and they're taking a coaching. That's obvious. The second reason it's essential is because they're building rapport with the different quarterbacks, timing, etc. You get into a game, for a lot of times the quarterback is throwing to where you're supposed to be. So they have to have that internal clock of knowing where each receiver is going to be, where they like the ball, etc. So it becomes a reaction. And third, not most important, but third is because if you have inexperienced, less talented receivers out there, then your cornerbacks and your safeties and star are not getting a proper look. You can run all the scout team you want against walk-ons or against true freshmen, regular, that are developing, and it's okay. But unless those cornerbacks are being tested with fire every day against top quality wide receivers, then when they get to the first game against a Ryan Williams, and there's only one Ryan Williams, and there's only one Jeremiah Smith, but nonetheless, every team is going to have quality wide receivers. You don't want that to be a shock. And so not having those folks out there is very troubling.
When we come back, Alabama is an opportunity for Tennessee. Alabama is an opportunity for a lot of people. By the way, Diego Pavia. I don't know what to make of Diego Pavia. In a way, in 2025, I kind of like that kid. In a way, I kind of like that. Everything's so guarded today. Gone are the days of a Hacksaw Reynolds saying, Archie who? You know, gone are the days of when Sean and I were on campus, a lineman you've never heard of named Tom Fuller gave an interview to the Knoxville Journal where he ripped every team on Tennessee's schedule that year and said, we're going to blow them all out. Gone are those days. Alabama is such an interesting team this year. Now, personally, I'm betting on them. Why? That coach can coach, and they have a lot of talent on their roster. All they need is for Ty Simpson to kind of guide the car. Can he do it? We'll talk with Kevin Scarbinsky on the other side after this.
Are you searching for a great local coffee? I'm Billy with Grade A Grounds. You can buy our freshly roasted coffee online and support a good cause with every sip. Great coffee, greater causes. Visit our website today, gradeagrounds.com.
Only 3 homestands remaining to see your Knoxville Smokies play this season. And this week will be full of celebrations, starting with free hot dog night on Tuesday. All the hot dogs you can eat all night long. And if you're still hungry, we've got all you can eat Wednesday, Thirsty Thursday with half-off draft beers. Then on Friday, we honor one of the founding members of the Negro Southern League, the Knoxville Giants. On Saturday, we're continuing the fight against breast cancer by painting the park pink. And on Sunday is Cocoa Melon Day. Grab your tickets now at SmokiesBaseball.com.
The end of summer means big savings and no more excuses to not call Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Don't let plumbing or HVAC problems follow you into fall, and take care of them now while the kids head back to school. Whether it's a leaky pipe, outdated water heater, or AC unit struggling to keep up, the expert team at Pipe Wrench is here to help you transition smoothly into fall with a home that's running efficiently and worry-free. This month only, enjoy 10% off any plumbing or HVAC service, including repairs, replacements, or maintenance. And Peace of Mind Maintenance Plan members will get an additional 10% off for 20% in total savings. From repairs to tune-ups to replacements, we'll help you check home comfort off your end of summer or back-to-school to-do list. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. So don't let HVAC or plumbing issues slow you down this season, and don't delay as the offer ends August 31st. Call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marco Scarza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Are you stuck in a dead-end job or ready for a new challenge? Do you feel like it's time to try a new career? Well, it's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. My friends at TLD Logistics have some really exciting opportunities for you to learn a new skill. With a new 5-acre driving academy that's now under new leadership with all new course material. And the best part, it's absolutely free. What a great deal to set you on the road to higher pay. And TLD Logistics even offers weekly stipends to offset food and gas expenses. In 6 weeks' time, you could complete this course and be in compliance with FMCSA regulations. Then you're ready for the open road of opportunity. What are you waiting for? It's time to change lanes with TLD Logistics. Visit tldlogistics.com. That's tldlogistics.com. TLD Logistics.
A lime is not always just a lime. You see, some limes are lucky. For when a lime joins the salted rim of a crisp, refreshing Tres Dos Equis, that lime is no longer a mere lime, but a wedge of renowned Mexican limon. Muchas gracias, limon. And also, de nada. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hey there, Basilio family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. The countdown to fall football is on. Is your fall plan missing the perfect home to watch the Vols make another playoff run? If a new view is on your game day checklist, I'm ready to help you find it. Don't wait until kickoff. Give me a call today at 865-694-5904 or visit my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good. T to the B back with you. Kevin Scarbinsky, who, ladies and gentlemen, you gotta like and subscribe. We're gonna get him going here over on YouTube to Scarbo Knows. Hang on, Kev. I'm doing this in real time, man. This is a new world for all of us. Boom. Just got you a new subscriber, brother. You're talking as I welcome you in. Hey, man. You know the thing about people our age is you either embrace that stuff and own the fact that because if you don't, you're going to have a bunch of youngsters. They're going to, no offense to them, they're going to fill the vacuum, but they don't have the reservoir that we have to draw on. So a lot of people our age are afraid of that technology, and I was for the longest time. This summer, I had a young guy come in here and sit with my wife and I and kind of boot camp us on how to do this stuff. And nothing to be afraid of, Kev, as I welcome you in.
Well, it's always good to talk to you, Tony. And that's the philosophy you have to embrace. Learn new things. Old dogs can learn new tricks. And, doing things like a podcast, I hooked up with a producer and some guys who were trying to put together a network of different shows across the South, and they invited me to. I was a guest for many, many occasions on their shows, and they said, "Man, you ought to do this yourself. You ought to have your own show." So I thought, why not? So I started back in the spring, actually on Selection Sunday of the NCAA March Madness. Got started then, and with like I said, the help of an outstanding producer, it's growing, and the live stream is where people are really watching. The YouTube is taking time to ignite, but on the live stream we're doing pretty good numbers. So it's fun. We get to do the thing that we love to do, and that's talk about sports and analyze sports and tell stories about sports, and what could be better than that?
the DeBoer era, it's kind of going to get real, right, this year. Now, in year 2, generally is when he moves. Last year he had a quarterback that, I mean, let's just be honest about it, did not fit, and we saw that in Knoxville, did not fit what he wanted to do offensively, but nobody's going to turn down a Jalen Milroe. You're going to make that work. You walk into a spot, you're following a legend. I don't know if you could get in a harder place in that sport than where he's at. And you got some maniacs. And you made the point in your video that Alabama is a preseason top 10 team in these polls, that we're starting to see. But Alabama fans don't like looking down at their team and seeing number 8. I find that a very intriguing team.
Unusual, Tony.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the lowest they've started a season in the coaches poll since 2008, which was Nick Saban's second year. And, of course, they were coming off 7-6 in his first year. They'd had a number of issues. They'd lost to people like Mississippi State and Louisiana Monroe. And so there was not a lot of confidence nationally that Saban was going to quickly be able to do at Alabama what he had done at LSU. Well, we found out rather quickly in 2008 when they smoked Clemson in the kickoff classic opener that they were going to be able to turn things around, and they were going to be competing for national championships on a regular basis. So, yeah, most programs would throw a parade. I can think of another SEC program in this state that if they were ranked preseason number 8, they'd throw a parade, and that's Auburn. But for Alabama, that shows doubt. And it's not just that they're number 8 in the country. It's that they're number 3 in the SEC. That you got Texas ahead of them. You've got Georgia ahead of them. Of course, Texas number 1. And just as we saw in the SEC Media Days poll, that was the predicted order of finish: Texas, Georgia, Alabama. So if Alabama misses the SEC championship game this year, and if they don't make the 12-team playoff for a second straight year, there are going to be the questions that people have that they're whispering about Kalen DeBoer right now. They will be shouting out of open windows.
And so here's the question, right? Because I think DeBoer is a hell of a coach. But again, you look at what they have at quarterback, and he's not alone. A lot of these top teams in the league have question mark at quarterback. Why didn't they go out in the portal and go get somebody that better matches? Did they try, or did he like this Simpson kid?
No, they really liked not just the Simpson kid, Ty Simpson, and while he will be a first-time starter, he's in his 4th year in the program, and for that kind of guy having major success, Greg McElroy was in his 4th year at Alabama. When he finally became the starter, they won a national championship in 2009, Saban's first in Tuscaloosa. Mac Jones was in the program in his 4th year when he took over after sitting behind Jalen Hurts and Tua Tagovailoa, and they win a national championship and go undefeated in 2020. So guys that have been in the program and waited their turn and developed and progressed and watched others succeed, learned the system, have had success. Now, the system has changed, obviously, with Kalen DeBoer, but he is an offensive guy. He's a guy who develops quarterbacks, and Batman's got Robin back next to him with Ryan Grubb, his offensive coordinator, who took a detour to the Seahawks last year rather than coming to Alabama with DeBoer 2 years ago. And that's a combination that has worked wherever they've been. Not a large sample size, but it's worked wherever they've been. So there's a lot of optimism because of that. And the development of Ty Simpson is one thing that they're excited about. And then you've got Austin Mack, who was with those guys at the University of Washington, and Keelan Russell, one of the top quarterback recruits in the country. They're very excited about his future. So they feel like they've got a really good room. We'll see if it pans out, because they appear to have the roster elsewhere. They appear to have the talent on both sides of the ball elsewhere, that if the quarterback does his job, they should be competing for SEC and national championships.
Hey, Kev, why with when you have a Ryan Williams at wide receiver, why did they feel the need to go get Isaiah Horton from Miami, who had 56 catches last year for them, or 56 catches in his career?
Well, the way that they want to play, the way they want to run offense, you got to have multiple receivers. And Ryan Williams hit a wall last year, and as everyone and their brother noted a million times over, he was 17 last season. Should have been a high school senior. He graduated early, and he definitely hit a wall as the season went along. And people understood a little better how to defend him. So taking some of the heat off of him and bringing in a bigger receiver like Isaiah Horton will kind of free up Ryan Williams, I think, create more opportunities for him. He's still going to draw a lot of attention from a defense, but if you want to, you want to double cover him, you want to under and over him, well, now you got Jeremy Bernard, who was very effective for him last year, a transfer from Washington with that coaching staff as well. They've got a deeper wide receiving core this year, so Ryan Williams won't necessarily be leaned on as much. And we know you don't have to get him the ball a lot for him to make an impact in big games.
Reminds me of the kid that plays for the Eagles that we got from Alabama. I mean, all it takes is one with those guys.
Yep.
And so Kevin Scarbinsky joining, I'll let him give you the coordinates and all the things he's involved with. He's intergalactic and ultraviolet and all that stuff. But Kev, offensively, how do they look when you to the uninitiated? Okay, how different will they look than they looked last year with the quarterback they had and some of the things that this head coach wants to do offensively?
Well, I can make one prediction with absolute certainty, and that's the quarterback will not lead the team in rushing this year. As was the case last year when Jalen Milroe was their leading rusher and Jam Miller, who's returning in the backfield, was number 2. Neither of them got to 1,000 yards. So that's, to me, the biggest question about the offense. The offensive line should be a bunch of maulers up front. I mean, you're going to see a number of those guys in the NFL in years to come, led by Caden Proctor at left tackle. I think they put out that he squatted 1,000 pounds, his max. I don't even know that. I didn't know that was humanly possible.
Hold my beer, Jalen Hurts. Wow, that's crazy.
So the question is, are the running backs good enough? I don't see a Najee Harris. I don't see a Mark Ingram, a Trent Richardson, and there's only ever been one Derrick Henry, so you're not going to get another one of those guys or even a reasonable facsimile. But I don't see the kind of stud running back in that backfield that they have had. So that's the question. Can they get enough production out of their backs so they don't lean too much on the passing game, so they are more balanced? And like I said, you're not going to see – Ty Simpson is not a statue back there. He can move some, but he's not going to – no, very few quarterbacks can run like Jalen Milroe could run. So that's going to be the biggest difference.
And do they lean on that running game? Is that kind of what are they going to sling it around? Or you talk about Grubb being back. What will the impact be there?
And that's something that has been part of Grubb's history is he wants to be physical. He doesn't want to go full air raid and throw 50 passes. He will if necessary, if the running game's not going or if the other team just loads up in the stop it. But he does like to be physical. You hear some of the comments from him out of fall camp, which is refreshing again as opposed to the Saban era where you actually hear from assistant coaches on a regular basis. And he is a guy that loves to be physical with his offense. He likes to be able to go smash mouth at times, to run between the tackles, and then pop a big play when other teams are expecting to throw the ball. So I think they will be balanced, but the balance will just be different in that you won't see the quarterback carrying the ball 18 times a game.
So we break it down scientifically with Kevin Scarbinsky, who joins on the program, and just kind of getting a feel for what Alabama is going to look like this year, just as their fan base is really wondering as well. You heard Kev, and things in the SEC are so relative, like Tennessee starting to move the bar in recruiting, right? And just as you start feeling good about yourself, you go, oh, well, this class is, 9 in the country, 8 in the but it's 4th in the SEC. I mean, the league is so ridiculously talented. And then Alabama's got a pretty difficult schedule, pretty difficult road ahead of it. What do you think are the landmines on that schedule for them when you look down at it?
Well, I was looking at October, for example. Well, first of all, the opener at Florida State is not a gimme. It's a game they should win. And there will be people crawling out on ledges if they lose in Tallahassee on August 30th. I can tell, although their old nemesis, Gus Malzahn, is down there drawing up plays in the dirt for FSU's new quarterback, Tommy Castellanos. But that's a game Alabama should get to Georgia undefeated. They beat Georgia last year. The Nick Saban hold on the Bulldogs continued in DeBoer's first meeting with Kirby Smart. So that's a big game. But October is what intrigues me. If I told you, 5 years ago, maybe not even that far back, that Alabama was going to play Vanderbilt, Missouri, Tennessee, and South Carolina in October, you're thinking, 4-0, right? Without breaking much of a sweat. Well, they lost to Vanderbilt last year in Nashville. They lost to Tennessee, of course, for the second time in 3 years in Knoxville. And they were lucky to escape South Carolina in Tuscaloosa. So I think that's something that Alabama fans want to see because they were so used to it under – don't mess around. Don't even play close games against teams that you feel are beneath you, and certainly don't lose to a Vanderbilt. And I don't know what's going to eventually trigger the apocalypse, but if Alabama were to lose to Vanderbilt for a second straight year, that might be one of those triggering moments.
As a great Kevin Scarbinsky joining us on the program, and that is the truth. And you know what, that Pavia kid, you and I work in the steak and the sizzle, right? And this kid's like running his mouth in that Netflix special. Kevin,
yes, I watched some of it last night.
It's refreshing. Hey, listen,
yes.
You were talking about the Saban era. Saban took the fun out of the deal for a lot of us from this perspective. Practices used to be open. He turned it into like Soviet tasks. And we weren't, God forbid, you go and watch a damn. I mean, half of us don't know what the hell we're looking at anyway. You talked today about how they're out there running a practice right in front of where there's a condominium or apartment complexes, and there's somebody out on the railings. You say Saban would have chased that person off the porch back in the day. A kid's out there watching practice. I mean, here's my thing. We're going to the super team era where they're going to mimic the NFL, and they're going to try and extract as many TV dollars out of the consumer and the network going forward as they can, just like the NFL does. And the NFL is masterful at keeping their product in front of people 24/7. And it's a product, by the way, that I don't think is all that interesting, but they somehow have figured out a way to get everybody to talk about the Dallas Cowboys 24/7 and 365. Why and will college football emulate their pro counterpart? A guy called me yesterday and asked me this, because trying to get morsels out of camp now, the way they close all these practices, it's kind of silly, and you and I both know that it's just silly. So, because back in our day, you could go watch scrimmages. You could kind of form your own opinions. Do you think they open things back up eventually as we get more toward this professional model?
I'm afraid, unfortunately, the good old days are going to remain in the past in that regard. I can remember when I started in this business as the Auburn beat writer for the Birmingham News covering Pat Dye and company. You could watch every practice from start to finish, and most days I did. Now, it wasn't fun. It wasn't necessarily where you were going to learn a lot every single day, but you picked up things and you understood, we had a professional code. I don't know if it still exists. It certainly doesn't exist across the board anymore, but you understood you're not going to report on formations or trick plays. There's a great story. One of the Auburn beat writer for the Post-Herald one year before Auburn was going to open at Texas, and they ran a scrimmage, and we were allowed to watch. And this guy listed every gadget play they ran in the scrimmage, in the newspaper. And you can imagine Pat Dye went through the roof. And he closed practice for a little bit, and then I said, "Look, why are you taking it out on us because that guy screwed up?" But those days are unfortunately gone. And again, it's Saban's influence because so many branches of his coaching tree have taken root at so many different places that people think that's the way you have to do it to win. And of course, there are different ways to win. And Kalen, I will say this: one of the most refreshing things that I respect and like about Kalen DeBoer is he has not tried to be Nick Saban in any way, shape, or form. He has been who he is. His programs are open. He's more laid back. He doesn't lecture the media when he does a press conference. He's almost a bit shy, and he certainly comes across humble, maybe a little bit too shy and too humble for that job coming after that guy. But he is who he is, and he is a very good football coach, but he's taking on an almost impossible task, as you mentioned. So we'll see how it works out in the long run. But like I said, he is not trying to be something he is not. He's not trying to be Nick Saban 2.0 because, again, there's only been one of those, and there will be never as much as Kirby Smart comes close.
Yeah. The Saban thing was like, my gosh. I don't even know. When they're talking about that 50 years from now, it's going to look like, who was this freak and how did it? Yeah, but here's the other thing. When you follow guys like him, generally you have zero chance of making it. I don't know why, but I think this DeBoer guy has a pretty good chance of making it. What do you think about him when you think about his future?
I think for that reason, because he is genuine. He doesn't try to be something he's not. And he has demonstrated now that he can recruit in this part of the country. His first full year recruiting class was a lot of guys from the West Coast, relationships that he and his staff had developed while they were at Washington and Fresno before that. But he has really paced in state. Now they did lose. I guess is the right word. An outstanding edge, high school edge, one of the top edge rushers in high school football out of Mobile. They did not get a commitment from him. He chose Oregon. So that was disappointing to a lot of people. But Alabama is, again, they're in the top 5 or so in the country in recruiting. And he's done a lot better job in state. Auburn really cleaned up a year ago in state. But Alabama has bounced back strong here, and that shows the relationships that they're developing within the states. His ability to recruit, and you get a bounce there because you're Alabama. You still get a bounce there. They didn't get the Saban bounce when it came to that last playoff spot because SMU lost that ACC championship game, and SMU got the last spot ahead of Alabama. And we'll see how that goes, because Saban, you can remember at least 3 different occasions where they were to make the playoff. They either didn't win the SEC or didn't play for the SEC, or they'd lost to Auburn and they still got in the playoff. And 2 of the 3 times they went on and won the national championship. DeBoer didn't get that bounce last year, and there were good reasons for it when you lose in ugly fashion to both Oklahoma and Vanderbilt. And that's the thing. That's the thing, Tony, that people want to see this year is more consistency. They lose to Vanderbilt 40-35. Vanderbilt keeps the ball for 42 minutes. Alabama's defense could not get off the field. Worked his magic on third down over and over and over again. And then they go to Oklahoma late in the year, and they're still in great position to make the playoff, and they don't score a touchdown. They lose 24-3 to another 6-win regular season team. So that kind of wild inconsistency, something we hadn't seen at Alabama or from Alabama for a long time. And can they be more consistent this year, beat the teams they're supposed to beat, and then spring wins like Georgia on the road this time?
Will they, Kev? Is that a playoff team at the end of the year, that Alabama team?
If Ty Simpson is what they think he is. And it's like you said, we could say that same thing about any number of teams that we feel like are contenders, that they have the roster to make a playoff run, but we just don't know about the quarterback. And that holds Texas as well. Arch Manning has not proven himself yet He's got great genes. Isn't that a phrase people have been tossing around lately?
Interesting.
He's got great genes, and he seems to have a great demeanor. He seems to have just a humility about him. That's kind of refreshing. He doesn't have, Johnny Football arrogance or Diego Pavia arrogance. I'm not sure whether that's a good or a bad thing to play that position in this conference, but there's just a lot of unanswered questions at quarterback among the best teams in the league. Tennessee, Georgia, same deal.
Oh, it's going to be one of the more interesting years in this sport that we've seen. Last year was interesting because it was the first 12-team era. This year they've made a tweak to that thing where they're going to get the right 12 teams in the deal in a proper order so that it's a better format.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun. And then what's going to happen in the league this year? I mean, Oklahoma's a lot better. Alabama is intriguing because they've got a ton of talent around an unknown quarterback. Who knows about Manning? The guy at LSU and their fan base, when they lose that first Clemson game and he has his obligatory annual first defeat, and the way they freak out on him, I don't know how that's going to turn out. This thing in Knoxville is going to be extremely interesting after what Nico just unprecedentedly, because his dad's insane, kind of got up and walked out. And by the way, Kevin, Tennessee's the first team that happened to. They will not be the last team until they can figure out a way to take this era that we're in out of the unprofessional sports era, because it's unprofessional. You're rewarded now for behaving unprofessionally in this sport for whatever reason, but that they don't want to give these kids the full rights of professional athletes, so there you have it. But it is going to be a lot of fun. Hey, Kev, on the way out, you talked about Alabama's need to find somebody at running back. What are other weaknesses when they sit behind closed doors, that kind of keep that staff up at night when they look at the roster? Do they have any?
Well, question marks. They're replacing every major special teams component: kicker, punter, snapper. The folks that don't get a lot of publicity unless something goes. That's when everybody notices them and talks about them. So can they, because they're going to play close games. They're not going to steamroll people. They're not going to steamroll everybody. We saw that last year. So can they make a key field goal? Punter flip the field late in a close game? Will the long snapper be consistent? Those things that aren't sexy to the average fan, but you talk about what a coaching staff thinks about late at night or what might keep them up at night. That's an area to keep an eye on.
Kev, give the living listener the coordinates, and it's always great, man, to when you bless us with some time.
Well, thanks, Tony. Like I said, I always enjoy visiting with you. You can follow me on Twitter/X at Kevin Scarbinsky. Keep up with my 2 columns a week in the Birmingham News. You can also find those on AL.com. And go to YouTube. Kevin Scarbinsky Scarbo Knows is my new podcast. You can keep up with that and everything else that I'm working on.
Kev, thanks. And Scarbo Knows, I see what you did there. And by the way, on the way out, what do we make of the Hugh Freeze era at Auburn? You covered that deal. You're familiar with it. I'm sure you rub against it at times. What do you make of that on the way out?
I've been pretty clear from the moment it came out. We learned that they were considering hiring him. I think I'm highly doubtful that it's going to work in the long run. But if it's going to work, you're going to see a step forward this year. And that all comes down to whether Jackson Arnold is the quarterback that he was at Oklahoma or is the quarterback all he can be. Because they have increased the talent level on that roster. They have brought in some nice pieces. Watch the wide receiver they got from Georgia Tech. That guy could be a big-time player. Keldrick Falk off the edge, who they've developed. He was in the program. Could be one of the national players of the year on defense. He's that disruptive. He's up to like 280, but he looks like about 225 the way he moves. So I'm just highly skeptical that I don't think Hugh Freeze has recaptured his magic, if he had any magic at Ole Miss, in terms of running an offense, calling plays, developing quarterbacks. And until he does that, I'm going to remain skeptical that he's going to get Auburn back where they think they should be, and that's in the top half of the conference, because they're closer to the bottom right now than they are the top.
Hey, great visiting with you. Thanks, Kev.
Have a great day, Tony.
Thank you, brother. You too. Hey, Sean Sinclair, you buying, selling, or trading Alabama this year? Because I believe in talent, and I believe they have enough to get into a playoff. I don't know where they finish in the league, but I believe they have enough to get there. Then again, can their quarterback play? I mean, we're back to this again. Everybody's got the same question in this league, and that is a huge question for all these teams.
I'm buying them, frankly, and I'll continue to buy them because of the way they recruit. They recruit complete teams. They don't highlight one position. They get everything. And DeBoer, I hear what the guy was talking about. A business decision if they lose to Vanderbilt. That guy's won everywhere he's been, and now he's at arguably the top program in the country. We may not like to hear it. Gene Stallings won a national championship there. Mike DuBose was highly successful there. This guy's going to be successful there, and they've, AJ McCarron, all these other guys they've had were okay quarterbacks. They'll find somebody. I mean, he took Pence. I think is his name. The kid from Indiana that went up there. I can't remember if that's his name, but he was just drafted last year. Excuse me, went to Indiana.
Michael Penix. Michael Penix. Penix. Yeah,
and turned him into a first-round draft pick, I believe. So I think he's a good enough coach that he can take a quarterback and apply a system around him. And I don't like to hear that. You had Ryan Williams, and then they're saying now they're deeper and better at wide receiver.
They went and added. I mean, that's kind of listen to people to think I'm beating that into the ground. They went and added.
Well, Auburn did too, as he said, and they've got great receivers. Two of the better young freshmen in the country.
Yes, those two Auburn wide receivers passed the test, as they say in the trade. I mean, those two guys. That number 8 is one hell of a football player. Now, I don't know if he has anybody throw the ball to him, and I don't know if he does this year. That freeze thing at Cinco is really strange. It's because Auburn wants to win so badly, and they're spending in the portal to win, but it just doesn't look like they're getting any traction at all. It's very odd.
Yeah, I don't know. Bruce Pearl was obviously magic, and it seemed like they were trying to recreate that whole deal. Reclamation project, lead us back, and you're right, it just hasn't gotten any traction. And then, if hopefully he's recovering from his sickness, I hope he makes a full recovery. Yeah. But make no mistake, they're recruiting very well down there as well.
Well, and that's the thing about our league. Again, we're talking about because Watson Brown's getting ready to join us here momentarily. It's got to be as frustrating as anything. Like when you're at Tennessee and all of a sudden you start landing all these players that they've been landing. Boom, 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 and then you look up and you're like, well, damn, we're still in the Southeastern Conference. We're still competing against these juggernauts and banging our collective heads against the wall. But the truth is, when you have the type of recruiting that Tennessee's had this offseason, you really give yourself a chance each year to get to a playoff out of this league, and that's all any of us can hope. Is that you can get to have enough of a football team around you to get to a 10-2, a 9-3. Look, I don't even know, is winning it all is going 11-1, 12-0. Is that the chase? I guess it is for the teams at the top. For me, when I think about the Vols, I'm thinking, hey, get in that 12-team playoff, and let's have stack solid, good football seasons like last year. Solid, very good football seasons like last year. When we come back, Watson Brown's going to join us. Now, on our Wednesday with Watson, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats, I'm just going to share with you that we've got a lot to cover. And it revolves around if he were in the shoes of Josh Heupel and you were in a spot where at least one, and at most practices so far, two of the three wide receivers you were going to count on weren't there, working in a new quarterback, getting ready to ramp up and play the Alabamas of the world. Hey, if you stop and think about it, the Georgia game is what? What's today's date? Let's think here. You're 6 weeks out from playing Georgia. Is that what it is? You know, the sands are kind of going through the hourglass here. And so this is going to be an interesting time that we're going to spend with Watson. Because what are some of the workarounds? Maybe he'll bring us inside that. Or are there no workarounds? When we continue, Watson Brown joins. It's a Wednesday with Watson Brown, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. We continue with more on your Wednesday after this.
Hey, Tony B listeners, I'm Billy from Grade A Grounds, a UT grad bringing Knoxville a better way to raise money. We roast premium coffee fully branded for your team or cause. You keep 40% of sales, and we donate 5% to local needs. Let's win on and off the field. Visit gradeagrounds.com to start your winning fundraiser today.
Living Vol fan, we're on the countdown to kickoff, and that means you need to make sure you are game ready. Head to Alumni Hall to get this season's Tennessee sideline apparel. Nike, Columbia, Peter Millar, and more. Shop top brands for the entire family. Hats, Yeti, tailgating gear, and so much more. If it's for the Tennessee fan, Alumni Hall has it. Spend $150 and get $10 in Hall cash rewards. Shop at alumnihall.com. Download their app or shop any of their locations in Knoxville, Murfreesboro, or the Tri-Cities. Alumni Hall, the ultimate shopping destination for Vol fans.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law, fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Tony Basilio, and we are live once again with Chad Stockton of FC Alliance. And Chad, you're out there on the field, 100 strong here in Knoxville. Talk to me. What's been going on with FC Alliance now that the weather's heating up?
We're out here for the first night of the boys' tryouts. We have over 400 kids that'll be here tonight. So a lot of exciting times right now for us. Our club team start at U9 and we go all the way through U19. We have over 1,000 kids that come from Chattanooga from the Tri-Cities that make all our teams and make this club what it is today. So we're excited about it. We finished the younger kids a couple of weeks ago. We just finished the girls last night, and now we're on to our older boys program as we speak right now.
And we're blowing and going in the Tri-Cities. Tell me about it.
We started FC Alliance North 1 year ago, and coming off the first year, we are the largest, most competitive club up in the Tri-Cities area. We just finished our trials last night. Looks like right now we will be well over 400 kids for the upcoming season. So great things happening up there. We've put our boys into some really good regional leagues. So we're excited about what the future holds for them and also our girls programs.
If you want more information, check them out at fcallianceknox.org. That's fcallianceknox.org. Chad Stockton, keep growing the beautiful game here in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. Thanks, Tony.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow, I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net. TB here for Cedar Bluff Plumbing, a live and local company that's been serving our area for over 32 years and counting, because every customer counts, and I mean, no job is too small. Cedar Bluff Plumbing just voted #1 by City View magazine because multiple plumbing experts are on call to serve all your plumbing needs. Chances are there'll be a plumber in your area when you call, and they won't send some salesman to your house. You're going to get a high character, trustworthy, highly trained plumber who will serve you. Not like some of these guys that look like they came off the set of America's Most Wanted. Cedar Bluff Plumbing is Basilio tested and approved and will go the extra mile for you because Chucky Mack is a servant of the people and my consigliere to the throne, celebrating over 32 years of serving living volunteers. Cedar Bluff Plumbing. Call 588-4448. That's 588-4448. Cedar Bluff Plumbing.
Attention Vol fans, are you tired of complicated, clunky fleet technology that makes your job harder? Say goodbye to frustration and hello to Connexial, your hometown partner in logistics. It's time to rev up your operations with next level fleet management from Connexial. Connexial is here to keep your business on track with technology that works as hard as you do. Our game-changing ELD gives you more than just hours of service. With AI-powered dash cameras and real-time asset tracking, you'll have eyes on the road, cargo, and your fleet from anywhere, anytime. And the best part, our friendly US-based customer support team is just one phone call away. No more long wait times or frustrating tech talk. Just real people with real solutions. With Connexial, you get a professional team you can trust and easy-to-use products that keep you on the road. What do you say, Tony?
I'm ready. Make the smart move and call Connexial today.
865-888-6920. Learn more at Connexial.com. That's Konexial.com. Drive life with Connexial and go Vols.
Basilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
Yeehaw! Some people say betting online is still the wild, wild west. But with the VIP Play app, you're riding with the best. VIP Play app is hotter than a $2 pistol packed with flair. Live hosts and features finer than a frog hair. Send your old betting problems out of town with a slap. You'll be betting sharp as a tack on the VIP Play app.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
Download VIP Play today or head to VIPPlayApp.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-88-99789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
WJBE 1040 AM 99.7 FM.
Translator W259AB.
Powell, Knoxville.
As the old song goes, every day is a great day to spend a day with you. The great Watson Brown joining us now on the programma. And it's a Wednesday with Watson Brown presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. I get hungry each and every time Watson's on here because I know he's going to feed our college football appetite and take us under wing and walk us through exactly what it is we're seeing. And Watson, first thing I want to do is welcome you in. Sorry I missed you last week. Appreciate you jumping in with the lads. Yeah, man, they kept the wheels on this thing.
I missed you too, but you got some good dudes there. They covered for you well.
Watson, speaking of good dudes and covering, that's kind of the mode Tennessee's in right now. First of all, why is it that this time of the year, why in camp globally, when you talk to people and you talk to your sources like you're me and you say, hey, how are things looking? And they go, man, that defense is really stifling that offense right now. Well, why is that all over the country? That's how it is this early in camp.
Well, if it's not that way, you're in trouble. I can tell you that. My good teams, always the defense was good early. They don't have the timing issues on defense that you have on offense. It's much more reaction than it is timing. And offense has reaction too, but it has timing to go with it. That's passing off blocks up front. That's the back hitting the hole at the proper time as the pass offs are taking place, and seeing double teams and where to go. That's timing of handoffs and nakeds and bootlegs off of those handoffs, and then the timing of the passing game is the hardest thing to get. That's the last thing to come, especially if you're young. So if your defense is not ahead of your offense in the first week, and I'm going to say all the way up, probably 2 weeks, maybe all the way through camp, to be very honest. My really good defenses, I had 2 defenses in Division I that were top 10 in total defense and scoring defense 2 years in a row. And a lot of those guys went to the NFL, and our offense never caught them. But we also had really good football teams too. So, and I also think, Tony, that when you're going against a good defense that's very physical, long arm physical, it just prepares you for the season. You're really not going to see anything probably any better. Some is good, but it just really prepares you offensively. I used to get frustrated, but I look back on it now and I said, man, we were pretty lucky to have defenses like that, and then because it got us better, and by first game we were ready to roll, and we were not shocked by physicality whatsoever.
Well, and that's kind of where you're going, because today was the first day in full pads, and and
it'll show big time that first day, I promise you.
Yeah, and I was getting downloads, from a couple people that I trust that see it every day. And you coaches hate people that share things, but the nature of this is you tell somebody a secret, or you tell somebody, hey, don't share that. Everybody wants to help people, and as long as you keep your mouth shut and don't say where you're getting it, they're going to help you. So and now that we all know how the game's played, that is how the game's played. And then when you've been in a place for 30 plus years and you kind of prove yourself that, hey, this guy's not going to burn me and get me fired, I'm going to help you. But Watson, when I talk to people, what I'm hearing is that the quarterback play so far from the 2 guys that they're counting on. Now, you'll be glad to know this. The kid that's really impressive is the McIntyre kid, but he's not going to play because he's diminutive. He's not ready. I mean, he needs to add a bunch of weight to his frame, but they say he looks like he's going to be a really nice player at this level one day, which is good to hear.
That's great news. If you wanted me to have something that I needed to hear for the future of the program, that's it right there. That's great news.
They like him a lot. They think he fits their offense well, but he's obviously that's not going to happen now. So here we are. No. We're in the here and the now. You were talking about what just as back in the spring, as all this transpired, you walked with us through the entire Nico thing, and when they added Aguilar, you said, getting a guy up and getting him ready is going to be one of the more challenging things these guys have ever been through. And so far, what I hear in camp is that he's had a very uneven camp to this point. And I don't think that even surprises me. I'm back to the offenses and the defenses and the way that usually works. I was kind of expecting to hear that, Watson. How about you?
Absolutely. I'd be shocked if I didn't. And especially when you don't have experienced receivers to go with him. If he had experienced receivers that have been around and through this offense for years, and they would pull him through it even better. But with inexperience there, that's going to even slow it down more. And that's Tennessee's bag. I mean, that's going to be the deal. We've said it. We said it back when Nico left. Immediately, I said it, and it's going to be how quick can they put this offense together, and I think it's going to be slow. And Josh, I'll bet you, ends up having to back off and not go as deep as he really wants to early when he's got some very important games early. But you can't go past what your quarterback can do, and his stuff comes slower because there's a lot of react that has to be done by the quarterback and receivers at the exact same time. Tony, I've said for my whole life as a coach, a coordinator, and a head coach, there's three things that have to come through to be a good passing team. Protection is number one. Number two is timing and spacing. And number three is enough reps of what you're doing to react instead of think. Those three things have to happen. The timing and the spacing is very slow coming. And if you get two receivers too close to one another, it don't matter how they ran the routes or how the timing was of the route. It's not going to work. They're just too close. And then the timing of things, the footwork of the quarterback and letting it go exactly when the receiver is making his cut, that does not come easy. And then I also learned that it's harder in practice in preseason because your defensive guys see these receivers and the routes all day long, start of practice to end of practice, and so they overplay things. Defensive backs overplay things in the preseason, and then it frustrates you on offense, but it messes up routes, and then you got to double move them and all the different things. I learned, Tony, to go over to the defensive backs about 2 weeks into the preseason and say, okay, what are you seeing on this guy right here that gives something away? Tell me that and let me go back and work on it with him. I did a lot of that. And you'd be amazed at how they'd say, man, I can tell when he's going to run a post route. He'll lean a little bit inside. He'll whatever it might be, I can tell when he's going to do that. So what a great thing to get corrected, man. And so there's so much goes into the preseason. I would always tell all of you, don't overreact to anything. Defenses are probably going to be better than maybe they're going to be early in the season because they're seeing the same stuff every day. And the offenses will probably be a little better when they're playing somebody that don't see their stuff every day. So that's the way I always looked at it as a coach.
The great Watson Brown joining. You know, and I sent you this as part of our syllabus today, and I want to jump Sean Sinclair in here on this one as well and just kind of bounce this thing around. Tennessee, one of the things that had to occur for them in this camp, and people are you know me, Watson, I get all emotional about things, but and I'm kind of a maniac. But it's only because I care, you know. Yeah. So far, Tennessee's only in the 6 practices they've had now that 6 are in the books. They've only one of their top 3 wide receivers have been on the practice field basically at any one time. I think there was one practice where 2 were, but for the most part it's been 1. Today the Staley kid missed. The Brazel kid hasn't practiced yet. They have 7 scholarship wide receivers. And talking to Sean, and I asked Sean, in his mind, the significance of wide receivers missing this time. I said, is it lip service to say that it really doesn't matter? And he said, no. He says it's critical. He said, first of all, the reps mean individual development for those wide receivers. He said that's extremely important when you got young and experienced guys like they have. And then you're also building a rapport with a Joey Football or a Merklinger or whomever, so you're getting your timing down. He said, plus, you're not testing your defense as much if you don't have your frontline guys out there at practice. And that's the camp they're having right now. That they could ill afford to have the camp they're having. And look, I say that not trying to sound alarm bells, but that's not good not having your receivers out there. Or am I overreacting to that?
No, and especially with them as inexperienced and young as they are. That doubles it to me. If you've got those old guys from 2 years ago that are there and they're missing a little here and there, I wouldn't be as alarmed, even though I agree with Sean. The timing of the hardest timing to get down, the two pieces that are the hardest to get down is offensive line timing on when to come off blocks or whatever, and receiver quarterback timing. Those two things are the two things that have got to over and over and over. And you have two offensive linemen miss in practice some. And where I've always been, we might have had to move a tackle to guard because he was our third guard and our starting tackle or whatever. Usually had about 8 guys that we could play. And in today's world, it's not as bad with that. So you don't run into that as much. But, yeah, I 100% agree. It's very, very scary. I mean, just, Tony, going out there and working in air with nobody on you and getting the timing of routes and the quarterback throwing it on time. And you can go run a post route with 8 receivers, and they're going to run it just a wee bit seconds, not seconds, but parts of seconds. They're going to run it a little different. Each one of them is going to be a little different. Each one of them is going to make the cut just a little bit different. One might be a wee bit slower coming out of the break than one might be. One might have a little better burst than the other one's got. And the quarterback has to know all this. And so, yes, that the hardest timing to make is receiver timing. Quarterback and receiver timing, and offensive line is real close to it.
So every guy, Watson's going to do something a little bit differently, and that quarterback
absolutely different. Yes, you can't. There's no way they're different individuals. You cannot clone 8 receivers. You can't clone 3 receivers. Your inside receiver is going to run different routes when 2 are in there, and that is the hardest timing, is the inside guy. The inside guy's timing really has to be right because they're around a lot of people in there. And so the openings in the zones, the place to lay the ball in man, the deep fade routes they run from the inside, all run them a little different. One may veer to the sidelines a little more. Hey, you go work on that as a coach, but their habits are their habits, and the quarterback is the one that has to know that, not the receiver, the quarterback. The quarterback's got to understand. So if they're not out there together doing all this, and he's not learning each different guy, you can draw all you want to draw on a blackboard. I used to call it blackboard, grease board, whatever they call it nowadays. You can draw all you want, but you got to have that individual going and running it. And the timing with the quarterback is the piece. It's not the route, it's the timing of the route, the spacing of the route, all those things. So yes, that would really concern me a lot more than some defensive backs missing practice.
Sean, anything else to add to this as we talk about just the fact that the Sands are going through the hourglass and Tennessee's wide receivers just haven't been on the field so far?
Yeah, I mean, I stated what I thought earlier. I have a separate question for Coach, if he could.
Sure.
Coach, you're staring at the entirety of the season, assuming getting to the playoffs is the goal. Obviously, you'd like to win a national championship. Obviously, you'd like to win all your games. But we've seen here that if you're in the SEC, 10-2 is likely going to get you in the playoffs. Tennessee starts off with their inexperience, limitations, new players, whatever. They open a heavy favorite against Syracuse, a much heavier favorite against ETSU. Host Georgia, it is what it is. UAB, Mississippi State, and Arkansas. So you're looking at, if things go well, 5-1. Then the march for the playoff starts with games at Alabama, home against Oklahoma, and Florida. So you got to take two of those three 50-50 kind of games. With it being bottom heavy in your schedule, how is you as a head coach, how are you building this offense, this team, knowing you have a stout defense that you can lean on, and you've got 5 games early on where you should be able to show up on defense and not even need your A game on offense? How are you constructing that first 6 games to get ready for the gauntlet at the end?
When I'm as inexperienced as they are at quarterback and receiver, and really a lot of new linemen to boot, when I'm that inexperienced, I would love to have the schedule they got. I always thought offensively, everybody always says, well, we want to be our best at the end when we're in. I've listened to basketball coaches that being ADs and listened to them, and we want to be our best when we get to the tournament. I always thought football-wise, I wanted to be at my best around mid-season, and then really grow as it goes, and just keep maintaining and go on from there and win games. And this team needs to be there when it gets to that around game 6 or whatever. They've got to be good if they're going to be a playoff team. And it can't just be a defensive team, Sean. It's in today's world, you cannot win games with 20 points. I don't care how good your defense is. You just cannot do it. You've got to have offense to go with that defense. And so you hope you stay healthy, Sean, on defense, and you hope that your inexperience at the critical positions, and there's a bunch of them on Tennessee's offense, just keeps getting better and better and better. And you'd love to see it start in practice. And what we're hearing now, you'd love to see toward the end of preseason. It's better. You feel better about it. And then you go into the first game and you win it, and it may not be as what you want. You keep getting a little better and keep getting a little better. And then by the time, and it's going to be hard to be at your best by the time you play Georgia. That one is going to be the toughie, buddy. Because they're going to come in with a defense as good as yours, if not better. And so that's going to be the tough one. But I think they can if they stay healthy. If they stay healthy, and they're not off to a good start with that, if they can stay healthy and keep the guys on the field, I think they can be good enough by mid-season to make that run you're talking about.
Yeah, the schedule is something we all just continue to kind of point at as a source of hope, because let's face it, they're not created equal. Tennessee's got, last year was kind of a generous schedule. They took advantage of it. You still have to go out and defeat the likes of the Alabamas of the world and the Georgias of the world and win at Oklahoma. And, hey, there's that nothing to sneeze at there. Thought for you. First scrimmage is Saturday. It's a Wednesday with Watson Brown, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. Oh, my gosh, let me tell you about them. And then I got to ask Watson a question about the scrimmage. Look, Simpson's Meats raises and sources their meat from farms that on pasture, on purpose. That's a family tradition since 1888 on the great Jim Simpson's farm. Whether it's steaks, burgers, sausages, you will not believe the quality and the freshness. Roast chicken. They've got a variety of local offerings. They've got a local butcher shop. You want to check it out. And they've got some other local offerings there like milk, honey jam, eggs, so much more. They're located off Level Road, but for you listening to us anywhere in the world, like the thousands and thousands and thousands are, you can order online at simpsonsmeats.com. They've got gift boxes available if you have clients. We're ways away from the holiday season, but maybe somebody you know has got a birthday, Maybe you want to have a summer gathering and celebrate. This is premium meat now. This is really, 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 really uptown stuff. Simpson's Meats, online at simpsonsmeats.com. Scrimmage on Saturday, Watson Brown. You know that you haven't had your wide receivers there. You know your quarterbacks have been struggling. Do these coaches go behind closed doors and say, hey, guys, let's shade things defensively to allow our offense, to allow these guys to have a good moment? Because if you go out there and play that thing straight up on Saturday, there's a chance these guys could get smothered. And I don't think you want to do that. Does that ever happen in that sport where you go behind closed doors and kind of move things around a little bit?
That's where I was so different. I remember when I went to Oklahoma as the offensive coordinator, and their first scrimmage came about. I never would hold either side back. No, never. I would never go in and say, guys, no blitzes today. Give me two coverages. They got to win games over there the same way the offense does. That is not fair whatsoever. You got to let your stuff go, man. But what I did do, after I learned my lesson at my first head coach job, where one side just absolutely dominated the other, I went ones-on-ones in practice every day. The best went against the best all the time. Any team period was best on best. But in scrimmages, I didn't. I went ones-on-twos because I didn't want one side or the other to get that feeling that, oh, my gosh, we're not very good. I never did that. I'd always have maybe one series of ones-on-ones in the full scrimmage that I had, but I always went ones-on-twos and ones-on-threes, or maybe twos-on-threes when the ones were not going. And I went in and Coach Gibbs at Oklahoma let me do that, but he said, I've never done that before. And I said, I'm just telling you, here's the reason I've always done that. And we did that at Oklahoma. And we were a little better on defense than we were offense when that first season started. So that's the way I've always done it. It is a concern of mine when one side absolutely dominates the other side. I just don't think that's a good thing in preseason.
Yeah, because the last thing you want, everybody's got to have something positive happen, right? You know, even if you've got I guess shade, it's not the right term, but ones versus threes, even like you're talking about, creates a situation where, you know, the quarterbacks can see some positive things happen for themselves. As young wide receivers can see positive things happen for themselves. Because if you go ones versus ones right now, we all pretty much know how that's going to go.
Well, and Josh may do that. That was me. That's the way I always did it, because my first team, the first scrimmage we had, our offense absolutely killed our defense. And I said, oh, this is not good whatsoever. And our defense ended up being pretty good at that school. But that's when I quit doing it and never did it again after that. But you can talk confidence all you want. And Tony, I've been at the tough schools. You can stand up there and say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, but you have to feel some success to gain that confidence. Words don't gain the confidence. Words can get you to the point where you can get some confidence, but you've got to feel some success. And and that's part of the game. You won't, in your practices before the season starts, and you don't get to scrimmage anybody but yourself. So college football is the one sport that has no clue when the season starts because they've not practiced against anybody or scrimmaged anybody. My pet peeve forever, I've said it on your show many times before, why in the world we don't scrimmage one team and let them come and practice for a day and then scrimmage them the next day?
Makes no sense.
Spend one night, or practice that morning a little bit against them and scrimmage that afternoon or night, whatever. And bring Middle Tennessee up to Tennessee and scrimmage them or whatever. And I don't understand that. So we go into the season not knowing. But, yes, the confidence comes from something good happening to you.
At the NFL level, they'll bring a team in, as you know, and they'll sit there and camp with them all week. And then they play the preseason game. Like they'll play the the exhibition football game, and the exhibition football game is who cares, because all the good work was done in the preceding week leading up to it in that practice where they got to look at everybody.
The practices is where they really find out where they are, because that's the good dudes going against the good dudes. By the time you get to the preseason game, it's the second and the thirds that are out there playing. Very few of the ones are even going to be in that game. Even late, they might be in for a quarter. They're not going to be in many of the preseason, but they're getting it in practice against good players. And so you kind of know where you are. I think that's the best thing they've done.
Hey, Watson and Sean, question for both you guys. So Boot Carter's being reintroduced here. He got he had his helmet and his pads on today, and he's a full go. In light of the fact that you are thin at wide receiver and you need playmakers on that side of the ball, you first, Watson, do you introduce him and try him in this scrimmage, or do you not waste those precious reps on him on Saturday in that scrimmage? How would you handle the Boot Carter thing?
I wouldn't, because of what happened. I would not, and he hadn't gotten many reps yet in practice either. But I think after this first scrimmage and practices, and if they see that they just don't have the guy, I most definitely would use him some on that side of the ball. Now, not turn him into a two-way player, because you'll take away from both sides if you do that. But to use him some, play him 10 snaps a game, whatever, yes, I would, if I see that I'm just short at wide receiver. If I'm not, I wouldn't. This wouldn't be off of a Boo and what makes him happy. It would be what's off of what's best for the team, in my opinion.
Sean, how about you?
Buddy, you're talking to a legit ex-head coach. I'm not going to debate Coach. He knows what he's talking about.
Well, from my perspective, I just look at that team and I say they need playmakers.
Yeah.
But then, listening to what you guys are saying, do I want to take the opportunity away from the freshman from Memphis? Do I want to stick Carter out there when Jackson could be out there making plays, getting some, the feel of accomplishing something? He had a nice spring game, but I use him as an example. But this is going to be really, really interesting, because Tennessee knows the strength of their offense is going to rest in that they've got a pretty good reworked offensive line they feel pretty good about. Now, they're going against that great defensive line every day in practice, and they're getting their brains beat in, as I talked to my people about it. But that iron sharpens iron, as Scripture says, and that's got to be very difficult for those kids to go to work and work against that defensive line. And then the other thought becomes, so that's going to help them, but the other thought becomes, with this passing game, and how they're going to handle Joey Aguilar, they've got a lot of work they knew they had a lot of work to do, Watson, but the way the first week of camp has gone, they really have a lot of work to do. So here's my question for you. Do they introduce these tight ends more into what they're going to do than we've seen in years past, because those guys are a safety blanket for whomever that inexperienced quarterback is that you use? Because they've got two that are very capable pass receiving wise, and then one who's just an excellent player as well.
Well, that's a little too hypothetical for me, Tony, because I don't know how good those guys are. If they're some of your better players, yes. You got to get your 11 best dudes on the field. That's the first thing you do. And if that's changing formations, and I mean not formation, but changing personnel, he's not big on that, because he left it with him going fast. He's not one that wants to do that. He does it, but he'll leave that grouping out there where he doesn't run one off and change personnel unless there's the reason to slow the game down, or they're not doing well in the fast pace. But if he's doing well in the pace, he's going to leave those guys out there. And so I think it's off of how good they are. Does he have two bona fide tight ends that are better than the wide receivers? Has he got one of those tight ends that can split out and be a receiver like he did a couple of years ago, that can play inside slots and all of that? Then you could see two tight ends and with multiple formations that way. That's what he's got to decide in this first week. You pretty much got to make your mind up. No later than 10 days into preseason, who am I going with here? And what groupings, and how do we now work these groupings? They talked that all summer. If this happens, here's what we'll do. And so they'll be ready for it. But you got to prove that on the field, and whatever their best grouping is, they're going to use that. I'm telling you, that's the first thing you do as a coach. Make sure you don't have one of your better skill players over there with you because it don't fit a certain grouping. Find out a way to make it work, and he would do that, I think. I've seen him do
Tone,
that.
Oh, sorry. Sorry,
Go ahead,
Coach.
Sean. Go ahead, Sean.
I'm sorry, Sean.
No, sir. I'm sorry. Tone, I would say this about Boo Carter, and I wonder if Coach would agree. If Boo Carter, all the discussion's been had, every person on the team, leadership council, coaches, et cetera, they've had their say. Coach has made up his mind. The kid's obviously been held out. He's done his thing. At this point, starting today, he's back on the team and it's over. I mean, there may be other conditions. He can't quit, all this stuff, but he's part of the team, and everyone's just going to have to deal with it and move on, because you can't have something lingering around there. As long as he keeps his nose clean, everyone needs to keep their mouth shut on that team and around the locker room about what's going on, or else you're just going to have that completely divided.
Oh, yeah, I think that's right, because and Sean's talking about John Adams was debating whether or not you suspend him for the first game. In my mind, he's back, Watson. That's the way I look at that. What do you think?
You want it over with, and the only way it comes back up again is something he does.
Yep.
You want it over with. You've made your decisions. Everybody agreed with the process you were going to do. Hopefully the process is done, and that's not brought up again. And the only way I would see it brought up again is if he does something. If he does something else, then here we go again. But if he keeps his end of the bargain, like he is, I promise he's told him he's going to, it should be over with. Sean's 100% right about that, because you don't want second guessing in your own locker room. It's done. It's over. Let's don't bring this up one more time.
Watson, I would rate your appearance on here as spun gold, and I'm not prone to hyperbole. So on the way out, I really appreciate your time. Thank you, my man. It was really, really great spending a few with you, and go hit them today. It's nice outside. It feels like it's almost football weather.
Yeah, I played yesterday. It's hard for me 2 in a row now. I'm a 75-year-old man, Tony, so I'll be back out there again tomorrow, though.
Brother, I love you. Thanks.
Love you guys. It's always an honor.
The great Watson Brown. I guarantee you he can play golf to this day. I guarantee he can go out there and ball out on the golf course. Presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. Online at simpsonsmeats.com. Premium meat. They've got you covered. It's unbelievable, Andy. Upon the continuance, we continue our conversation about what's going on in camp. A rather stacked and packed program today. By the way, no TLD Logistics Overdrive overtime because I've got to get to physical therapy. They're putting me in traction today. Basilio in traction. Sounds like a bluegrass group. Tony in traction. As we continue with more, or would that be like a thrash metal band? Tony in traction. As we continue with more on the other side after this.
Guests appear on the TLD Logistics Hotline. Online at tldlogistics.com.
Whether it's baseball, football, softball, church groups, or schools, if you're raising money, do it with locally roasted Grade A Grounds coffee. I'm Billy Miller, a Vol alum and Knoxville native. You keep 40% of sales, and we donate 5% back to our East Tennessee community. Get started today by visiting our website at gradeagrounds.com.
Although summer is almost over, the last thing you want during sweltering heat is a broken air conditioner or HVAC system. That means it's more important than ever to keep you and your family comfortable and safe during extreme East Tennessee weather. Don't ignore the warning signs that your AC is struggling or nearing the end of its lifespan. And if you need emergency HVAC repairs, routine preventative maintenance, or want to invest in a new system, then call the trusted HVAC experts at Pipe Wrench Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. This month, get up to a $1,000 discount when you buy and install a new air conditioner or HVAC system. We make it easy with free on-site estimates for replacements and free second opinions on repairs. And if budgets are tight, we offer flexible payment plans including 0% financing with credit approval. Be sure to ask about our 10-plus year warranties that are 2 times longer than industry standards so you don't spend a cent on unexpected costs in the future. So call Pipe Wrench at 865-264-8090 or book online at pipewrench.com to schedule your appointment today. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Life never stops moving, and between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up, a tire designed for doers, a tire that's going to last, like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire. Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Hey there, Basilio family. Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. The countdown to fall football is on. Is your fall plan missing the perfect home to watch the Vols make another playoff run? If a new view is on your game day checklist, I'm ready to help you find it. Don't wait until kickoff. Give me a call today at 865-694-5904 or visit my website at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and go Vols.
Basilio here reminding you that when you want to sell your extra tickets to the game, you don't want to give your life away online with all your personal information just because you want to sell a few extra tickets. Clark Moore at Select Ticket Service will gladly buy your extra game tickets and your extra parking passes. And the best part? Clarky Boy pays cash. 865-919-1016. 865-919-1016. Clarky Boy pays cash at Select Ticket Service. Clarky Boy pays cash. Tony B here with the great Zakai Ziegler for Advent.
Hey, whoa. Tony, I got this. Hey, Tennessee, it's Easy here. Next time you have an electric issue at your home or business, call my friends at Advent Electric. With offices in Knoxville and Nashville, it's Mama's Easy approved.
You heard it from the most electrifying player in the league. Call the service professionals at Advent Electric, 865-588-0631. Online, adventelectric.com. Tell them ZZ sent you. TB back with you, breaking it down scientifically, moving right to left across your device, doing it with the greatest of ease. Anything else I can think of? Let me think. What else can I think of? Smokies are back. And not only are the Smokies back, ladies and gentlemen, but an old friend of ours is back in Blake Burke. This is fun. This is what it's about. And Eris is here with my Smokies because the homestand's upon us. Eris, how we doing, brother?
Fantastic. How you doing, Daddy-O?
Brother, I'm over here living the dweem, as Dusty Rhodes once said. And talk to me here because, man, the weather, it's now getting a little more mild here at night. It's you can feel autumn around the corner here.
I think it's kind of refreshing, especially with the how hot some of these days have been. And, hey, as long as it's not raining, I'm celebrating.
Amen to that, brother. So the weather's been pretty good to us this year, but we've got a couple of great days for baseball. And talk to me about what's in store for the Smokies this week.
Yeah, dude. So today is all-you-can-eat Wednesday. Come to the ballpark hungry, of course. You can just nosh on all of your ballpark classics here. You can get the tickets right now online, SmokiesBaseball.com, or just come over to the box office. We'll get you all set up for tonight's game. And, of course, tomorrow, Thirsty Thursday, so half price draft beers. That's any draft beer. You know, we have your porters, we got your IPAs, all of those, 50% off tomorrow, brought to you by our friends at Flying Panda. And then we are lined up this weekend, my friend. This Friday, we are bringing back the Knoxville Giants. That's the 1920 Negro League champions. They're taking the field for the first time. Our Smokies players will be donning Knoxville Giants jerseys.
That's cool. Now,
honorees.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
man.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, you can learn all about it at SmokiesBaseball.com/Giants. Get learned about it before the game. This is going to be a packed house. So if you want to get your preference of seats, you got to purchase your tickets now for it. Pretty cool. Players are going to be wearing those Knoxville Giants jerseys, and we're going to have an auction that's going live today starting at 5:30. So you can bid on these jerseys, game worn by the players. They'll be autographing them as well after the game. Get a piece of history. Over 100 years since the Knoxville Giants have played, and they're making a ceremonial return here, a beautiful Covenant Health ballpark.
Hey, Brian Hartman, we've heard of the Knoxville Bears. I didn't know about the Knoxville Giants, Brian, but Brian Hartman, you and I have heard about the Knoxville Bears, right?
Yeah, we know the Knoxville Bears. I wonder if they ever scrimmaged against the Knoxville Giants.
Yeah, so the Knoxville Giants, Eris, any idea where they played? Where would they have played ball with Knoxville Giants?
Oh, boy. They actually played pretty close to where the current ballpark is. If you haven't made it out to the ballpark yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. You know, we're located right here at 500 East Jackson Avenue. Great ballpark, state-of-the-art. Take a lot of pride in where we're located right now. If you haven't come out to the game, I don't know what you're waiting for. But the Giants actually did play over at Brewers Park in Knoxville, and then it was renamed Booker Washington Park, if you're familiar with that. So located right here in downtown Knoxville back in the day.
So much tremendous history. I love that. So Friday night, we're going to wear the Knoxville Giants, and we're going to shout out to the past in the Negro Leagues. That's incredible. And then on Saturday, what's in store?
Hey, man, Saturday we're also going to be fighting a cause. So it's going to be Paint the Park Pink Night, and our players will be donning pink jerseys. Bid on the jersey auction, and it goes towards funding the opportunity and hopefully the battle to end breast cancer for our friends over there at Covenant Health. And our players will be rocking those jerseys. We're going to ask everybody to come on out to the game and support a fantastic cause, support those that are battling or have lost their battle against breast cancer. Another big night at the ballpark that we bring a lot of people from a lot of different areas to come out to the game.
And then Sunday, lay it on me.
Oh, well, Sunday, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but one of the most popular Netflix shows out of the last maybe 4 years is the children's show Coco Melon. Now, if there's any parents that are listening to the show today, they know all about that. So the star of Coco Melon, JJ, is going to be here. So your kids can meet their favorite cartoon hero, JJ, at the ballpark. It's a fun family atmosphere on Sundays. Our Sundays are absolutely amazing here at the game. We bring a lot of these costume characters here at the game, and you can meet JJ, and then the kids can run the bases at the conclusion. So it's a big family fun affair on Sunday.
And those are things you never forget as you grow into adulthood, and they take all the fun away from you in life. Then you realize, geez, this is what's left. As Eris with My Smokies joining, who last night, now we didn't get to him yesterday, but they had free hot dog night. Now, Eris, what was that, a circus or what?
Hey man, it was fantastic. We had nearly 5,000 people here last night, and we had over 8,000 hot dogs that we gave out, and it was free hot dogs. And we got through the concession stands pretty quickly. No complaints there. People noshed. I saw people eat north of 10 hot dogs. I've seen people that ate just one hot dog. So it was a come one, come all. People had a lot of fun with the camaraderie of that, and we had to keep refilling all the mustard and the ketchup.
Growing up in the Philly area, I remember I love the Phillies, and I love Phillies Franks. I still remember that. It's like burned into my brain. Eris, we were talking about yesterday on the air, why do hot dogs taste better at a baseball stadium? Is that like a psychology thing, or do you find that to be true?
I think it has to be the atmosphere, because this isn't the first time I've been asked that question. It's very rare that I have a hot dog at home or if I go to a restaurant.
Yeah, me
but
too.
It's just something so classic about it, when you go to the game.
And how do you prepare yours? Because Brian Hartman smothers chili all over his. I'm a basically everything but relish guy.
Yeah, I do. I keep it classic. I just put like mustard on mine. I'm good with ketchup. I'm not a big fan of the relish. But if we're going chili dog, then, that really limits the amount I can consume.
Well, Eris, you're my man. I love you. If people need more information, how do they do it? Talk to me.
We got 17 games left in the regular season, so come on out to the ballpark. Visit us online at smokiesbaseball.com or at any social media platform at Smokies Baseball to learn about our promotions, our giveaways, our theme nights. Hey, August 23rd is going to be our University of Tennessee themed game, and tickets are going real fast. We have a lot of fun things planned. I'm sure we'll be talking about that soon on the show, brother.
LFG, man. LFG, as they say in the trade. Thank you, my brother. Great talking to you.
Talk to you soon.
So, and I love Eris. He's incredible. And really, they do a terrific job there. If you have not been out to the stadium this year, time is rolling through the hourglass. That's like the 8th time I've said that today. Please get it in your schedule to get out there because you will be really, really glad that you did. Hey, Sean Sinclair, this football camp stuff is really interesting. I don't know whether to talk about it or not because people get angry with me because I'm not like I'm just trying to talk about it like while it's happening, and I don't know whether I'm doing the right thing or not by doing that, by kind of leveling with people as to what's going on so far, because I'm not tremendously alarmed about the offense, simply because, as you were saying, the ramp up to the season outside of the Georgia game, you get a relatively decent runway. Now, the Georgia game right now, that might take a sports miracle at this point. With the way things have looked in camp so far, but who knows? That's why we play the game. But Sean, I still think there's a pretty good football team here in Knoxville this year. So I know I go too far with the wide receiver stuff and the portal stuff, and I don't mean to be that obnoxious, so I just wanted to say that here on the tail end of the show, but just trying to talk about things as they occur in camp, but not blow them out of proportion. It's a fine line to walk, Sean.
Well, I don't know. You're in a unique position. There are other outlets with much different access points to the program that will not talk about stuff. It was interesting yesterday with the glowing piece on how Amari Jefferson ran a couple of routes well. And from my experience, that totally speaks of, hey, we want to change the narrative around here. That had very little to do with Amari Jefferson. That had everything to do with, it's cloudy out, but it's not going to rain. So, and I have nothing to speak about that young man. But it was just a little seed to plant for people not to panic. Those other sites, they're always great with news after the fact. And then talk, with all due respect, talk down to the thing like, yeah, of course. Well, yeah, we knew that. But you're not like that. You're out there. You're putting it on the line. You're the one that's putting your reputation. You're the one to get excoriated by the keyboard cowards on the different sites.
The Boo Carter thing's a good example of that. That was a situation. That was an issue, and we talked about it in real time, like adults.
Sure.
And this thing with camp, like these aren't. Like the Amari Jefferson thing, the early returns on him are not good. Doesn't mean he can't be a good player in time. That does not what it means. But they don't think right now they're not counting on him being a player here. They're just not. Doesn't mean he can't be. Doesn't mean it can't happen. But Cinco, thanks for today, man. Great job. Thank you, brother.
I appreciate that, Tone, and best of luck in traction. Hopefully I can get a picture of that. Anytime we can tie down Tony B is a good day. But continued healing. Hope the Lord's hand gets on you and you get some relief soon.
Hey, praise God. Thank you for the sentiments. And for anybody else that's gone through anything like that, God's blessings to you as well. We're not alone here. By the way, my friends at VIP Play, check out, get that welcome bonus. If you bet on my Sillies right now, they are literally on a heater. And the Metropolitans are going in the other direction. And Bino's Yankees, I don't know, are they ever going to win a game? And anyway, you make your first bet $5 or more, get $100 in bonus bets right now. You've got all kinds of stuff to bet on. You've got 200 leagues, and they're always live. Numerous bet types, props, options, nightly on Major League Baseball, and some of the stuff that's right around the corner with all 12 lines on Tennessee football. Some of the stuff that's right around the corner that they've got planned for you in the fall. Wow. I'm just saying wow to you. If you have a gambling problem, 800-889-9789. 21 and over, located in the state of Tennessee to place a bet. I want to thank SEAN Sinclair, DDS, beautiful Maryville. I also want to shout out Brian Hartman for getting in here and helping us out today. Thank you, Bri. In the meantime, to the living listener, thank you. We appreciate you. We love you. I just want to say, in the spirit of where we're going here, when news breaks out, we break in. But I'm about to get in traction. We talking about traction. Hey, have yourself a great day. Peace.
WJBE 1040 AM, 99.7 FM. Translator W259AB. Powell, Knoxville.
Purposefully, like for the last 20 years, I've kept my volume very low, things I listen to. But I have really sensitive ears now. Here we are on a Tuesday. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, it is a John Adams Tuesday presented by Jennifer Morris. Next Move, SmokyMountains.com.